Hello and welcome to MCC TV International Show. My name is John Dabeet. I'm the coordinator for the business department here. I teach economics and also I host this show. Today's show is a different show. As we always say, every show is a special show because our guest that we bring into our show is a special guest. But our guest today challenged me to not wear a suit today and also to wear jeans. So I don't know, Chad, if at some point in time you're going to show my jeans or not. But I thought, yeah, here, as you see, very casual today. She said like part of her conditions on showing up on this show is that I have to be casual. Right, Bethany?
Of course.
Okay. Welcome, Bethany, to the show. Beth Owens, she's a student. And also, she works at the testing center. So welcome to the show, Bethany. And I would like to start by asking you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Well, I'm Bethany Owens. I'm 26. I'm married. I have two beautiful children. I go to school here full-time. I work here part-time. I'm a full-time mom, which is basically like 14 jobs.
It's a big job, too.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
But a 10-year-old and a 2-year-old, so it's a lot.
It's a big difference, right, between the two. Is it easy to manage, 10 years and 2 years? You know what I mean? Since you have that gap.
We struggled to get pregnant. So technically, my oldest is my stepson. I hate calling him that. He's just my baby. But he was 2 when I came into his life, and then we tried for a long time to get pregnant, and so the gap was not of our wanting, but it was like as soon as we got him into school and like in that routine, boom, pregnant, we're doing diapers again, we're doing all nights, we're doing all of the stuff all over again. It's been a really nice like separation, I think, because he got his time and he's super helpful, and then like she's her own little person and he loves playing and helping with her. So
it's the big brother, right?
Yes. I think it worked out very well, their age difference.
I'm glad to know that. Bethany, tell us more about growing up. Like growing up, did you grow up in Muscatine or different community? Tell us things about what you used to do as part of your family, any special occasions that you used to celebrate certain things in a special way, so that our audience will learn more about you, please.
So I did grow up in the area. We lived in many places, but like Letts, we lived in Fruitland, we lived in Grandview. We've always lived in the area. I went to school the entire time from kindergarten to graduation at L&M. I had the greatest experience. I really did. I really love L&M and the school district. I really, really want my youngest to go there. My son goes to Muscatine, which was why it was very important for me to get out and vote for you, because I was like, I know John's going to be backing my son. But I grew up in L&M school district. After graduation, I was accepted into Wartburg College, and funds fell through, and I came here. And I think that was the biggest blessing I could have had, was staying right here. Had I gone to Wartburg, I wouldn't have reconnected with my husband. I wouldn't have my children. There's a lot of different factors. I do think that everything happens for a reason. But I was here, just barely missed my AA, and that's why I'm back now. But went to school here, and then I got married and had babies, and we plan on staying right here. So.
What's your major, Bethany?
Right now I'm just lib arts. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure then. I'm not sure now.
And it's still time, It's always, we always tell people, take your time, don't rush, because you don't want to get into a major, and then later on you find out, wow, this is really not for me. It's okay to take your time.
Oh, yes.
Again,
and
before you.
I feel like I've never had that issue here. Like, I always feel like it's very close-knit, and everyone's always like, okay, so take your time. If you have to not do Winthrop, then don't do it. If you need to take 2 classes a semester rather than the full, then do that.
Definitely, it's a good community. We all function as a one community, one family, and that's the good thing. And the great thing about working here and being part of MCC, and that is, that's what we keep hearing from everybody. I know at some point in time, Bethany, you traveled outside the United States, and in particular, my understanding, you went to Greece.
I did.
Right?
I
Okay,
did.
tell us about that experience.
So when it was right after I graduated high school. I don't want to mess up what the program was, but it was part of the sister cities Kosovo and Muscatine, and they had been going to Kosovo and doing peace work. Liz Shropshire is the one that I think started all of that. I wish I knew more about it so I could share more about it because it's really incredible, but if you just Google it, you'll know. But we had been going there, they had been coming here, and then we decided to do a peace training in Greece on neutral ground, because when you show up to someone else's country and their space and their home, they're going to be comfortable.
Yes.
And you're uncomfortable. But if you take that same group of people and bring them here, then I'm comfortable. And I feel like we learned so much more being in a neutral ground where none of us are at home. All of us are we stayed in these beautiful bungalows, but we're all staying in these little bungalows and we're learning things about each other. It was 10 days and we learned penny whistles. We learned a lot of music things. We learned just general, basically how to be a kind, good person, and especially open your heart to people who aren't you and people who are different. And I struggled a lot with understanding a lot of the things, and we met beautiful people who were there during all of that war-torn issues. Some of those kids went to MCC. I got to see them and still see them. They're still around town, and they came here to get their education so that they could go back and make their home as great as it can be. And I just remember one girl, Poema, she came to as a foreign exchange student the year after I graduated. And she was I took her out to lunch and everything, and the cultural differences was just amazing to me. And she was so confused as to why the waitress kept coming back over. Why is she bothering us? And I was well, she wants a good tip. And she was tip? We already paid her. And so then I had to explain that to her. And then I had to let her down because she really wanted to go to Walmart. And I was okay, let's go to Walmart. She sees Walmart on the internet. And I take her to Walmart and she was it wasn't that great. Things like
First
that.
experience,
right? And she's advertisement is a lie, and it was just really interesting to, see her pictures and her stances on things. And she was always challenging me. All of them would always be but look at the world like this. And it was the most amazing experience.
And exactly, and that's what we always say. It doesn't take much to see and understand and respect other culture. Each one of us he or she is different in our own way. But at the end, we're a human being.
Yeah, we're all
at the
basically
end,
the same.
oh, exactly. So kindness is always the word.
Yes.
So treating each other in respect, in a kind way, it does take us a long way versus the other way around. Okay, so while in Greece, so you were part of the camp, learning about different culture, talking to people from different countries, and in particular Kosovo here. But tell us also about your experience visiting Greece, as definitely is a different country now. So you start seeing, I'm sure, different things there.
It was in 2011 when the riots started happening, and my mom almost didn't let me go because she was so scared, And when we showed up, you could tell that there had been issues. Some of the monuments were graffitied on. I don't think that I shared any of those photos because it's hard to see. But culturally, it's so much calmer and so much more relaxed. And the first night we were there, we stayed in a city, and then we got on a ferry and we rode to this teeny tiny island where it's village, and it's so peaceful, and everyone is so calm and relaxed, and things are just
How's the food?
Oh.
Because I love their food too. I love Greek food. Yeah.
The thing that we ate the entire time we were there was goat. Goat was a big deal. Yeah. And we rode up to this little mom and pop farm, and they, from birth to dinner table, they had goats right there. And so that was so fresh. And I was like, I'm not eating goat. That's not happening. It was delicious.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, yeah. It's and that's again. This is part of like again experiencing a new culture or a different culture. Is food is part of that. The language, you know, it could be a show that you went to, and whether it's a musical show or a play or something that is teaching us a lot about that particular culture. I know that we have some pictures, and our producer Chad has those pictures. Soon he will start rolling those pictures on the screen. So as we start seeing this, we need to let our audience also know what they are watching or what they are seeing once we start looking at those pictures. And here is the first one I see on the screen. So tell us what we see here.
So I believe this one was right after, like, we all woke up because it was a long trip. And you can see a very definite separation. The way I'm looking at it, on the left is all of the Kosovars, and on the right is all of the Americans. And later on you'll see a picture and we're all intermingled.
Together.
It was such a cool thing to have us go from like language barrier and not really like, I mean, we were all teenagers or younger, and you're just kind of in that awkward stage where you're like, I know that we're here to be friends, but lots of people from Muscatine who are like involved. The Smiths, Cynthia and Rick, were the music instructors. They still are. Lori Carroll, who her husband is Paul Carroll, who is like a phenomenal man. She's phenomenal. But yeah, that was our first day, where I think that's, I might be wrong, but I think that's the Aegean Sea that we were standing in front of. And yeah, it was like a big city. I would say probably the size of Iowa City. Like I mean, not big city, but big city for them.
Yes, yeah. That's a beautiful picture.
Yeah. So here we are learning penny whistles, and the Fortessa is the one sitting on the ground there, and she went to school here. She was a big deal here. She stayed with Lori Carroll and Paul Carroll, and then you've got Cynthia Smith on the end, me, Kelly Hendricks, and her mom, Amy Wedeking. And we were learning penny whistles in order to take that back to our kids here. And we worked with Flickinger Center and things like that, and bringing that stuff back. The whole thing is like, music doesn't have a language, so you can
an international language.
Yeah, you can portray happiness, sadness, whatever, with music. And penny whistles are pretty easy to learn how to play, and it's easy to teach. And here we are, we're doing our big concert. That's everyone. And you can see here is where we start to intermix, and you can see,
mingle together.
Yeah, you can see that we're not all separated, which I thought that was just the coolest thing, to looking through the pictures again. I'm like, oh, you can see like, here's day one, and then here's about halfway through. It was just really neat. And we sang peace songs in English, in Albanian. I don't know, I can't even remember all of the things that we did musically, but it was mostly a musical training because, like I said, the kids here that we were helping at Flickinger, they needed that. They needed some sort of, because, I mean, there's war-torn, but there's also a lot of sadness in our backyard. And so to bring them just that little bit of happiness, and man, they love just tooting on those penny whistles. Oh, there's me being real cute. That's in front of some ruins. Coolest thing I've ever seen.
Amazing culture.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And they had lots of plaques dedicated, like saying what things were. For the life of me, I cannot find exactly where we were, but there was like an arena where we were too, and then you can see in the background there it almost looks like Stonehenge type. But yeah, that was
thousands and thousands of years.
Oh yeah, it was incredible.
Look at this scenery here.
Yeah, so the beaches are mostly rock, and we got on this ferry boat one day, and this was right in front of a beach that was not all rocks, because we were all very excited to go to the beach, of course, and swim in the sea. A lot of us hadn't seen that, but this was right before we pulled up, and I don't think that it was this particular mountain, hill, what have you, that we climbed, but we did end up climbing one. And you get to the, a peak or a viewing point, and it is just gorgeous, and it's beautiful, the entire
Got
island.
the blue sky and yeah, beautiful scene.
And these are like not great quality. I think I had like the very first iPod with a camera on it, so they're not great photos, but you can see that it was
very
gorgeous.
Very nice, definitely. Yeah.
And there's more of the ruins. That's what was behind me in that other picture. I wish that I would have gotten more photos of that, but I was seriously so awestruck.
Yeah.
I wish that I would have taken more photos, but I really experienced the whole thing, and I think that was, the better thing to do.
It's beautiful, yeah.
And this is right before we left, and you can see we're like mixed, everyone. And we've got the bungalow manager and his kids. So we not only were learning each other's languages, but we learned some Greek. And his wife made breakfast every morning for us.
Wow.
His kids were like playing with us all the time. We practiced on the porch a lot, so his kids were out with us. So I like to think that they learned a thing or two also, but it was an incredible trip.
Excellent.
And that's my family. That's my boy Ricky is on the end, and then my husband, me, and my daughter Freya. So Greg and I we met in high school, but we reconnected here at MCC. We were both taking classes here, and
beautiful family.
There it goes. And I want to shout out to Sammy Motley, who took these beautiful pictures for us. She's an incredible photographer and totally captured my family, as you can see.
Oh, look at this one. This is beautiful.
They are smitten with one another.
That's so nice, so nice.
Sweet.
Thank you for sharing all these the pictures that tells your story, obviously, and sharing that with our audience too. So millions of thanks, and that's how we learn. That's basically, and that's the objective and the goal of this show, is to get our audience to learn about whether our students or co-workers or people who are visiting our city or people who are involved in certain projects. We want our audience here in Muscatine also and around the globe also to know about them, because again, this show is streamed live on the net and it's on basically YouTube too, so anybody can watch that too. So I want to change a little bit the subject and talk about what you do at MCC beside being a student. You work at the testing center, and testing center is a very important center and place for our students, because sometimes students cannot take the test at a certain time, so they have to come to you and arrange. So let's talk about the testing center. Procedures, certain rules. What do you think our students need to know before they come and take the test, or perhaps even before they sign on a date and a time to take that test?
So I think the most important thing is please call me 24 to 48 hours in advance, just in case, because we have 6 computers and I think 7 seats that we can seat people. So like finals are coming up, and that's going to be hectic. It's going to be, this slot has this person in it for 1 hour, and then this person's got to go so we can get the next one in. Yeah. Always bring your photo ID. I really enjoy getting to know the students, and I get teary when they graduate. And I work with not only students who miss out on exams, but I work with accommodation students, and those accommodation students are with me all the time. I see them multiple times a week because they're in there for all sorts of different types of testing. And it's important to come prepared, which I know is what everyone's saying, but have your photo ID on you. Know that I'm going to try my best to make it as painless as possible, because I always joke, no one wants to come see me. Because if you're coming to see me, you got to take a test. Yeah. And I don't know many people who are like, yeah, I get to go take a test today. So I try to make it as painless as possible, and I try to joke. I am a joking person. That's just my nature. Yeah. And, just to take a minute to just chill before you come
you
in.
know, just back to that joking issue. You know, I'm very happy that the testing center is very close to my office.
Yeah.
So as I'm passing by, I always see you, and we get to talk and
Yes.
joke, as you just said, which is again the environment that we have here at MCC. I mean, I do believe in doing my work while I'm having fun, rather than in doing my work while I'm not having fun or miserable or something like that. And that's the neat thing about us here at MCC. It's
Very close.
We basically look at things in a positive way and try to help our students the same way. So is there like a case where a student cannot take, for example, the test at the testing center, or there is no limitations, for example?
I mean, unless I'm not there, if I'm not open.
Yeah, beside that, so you can give any kind of test.
Not
Basically.
any kind of test. So there's some tests that I wish that I would have brought my sheet with me. So the typical tests that we do, CLEP.
Okay.
And so those are exams that you can take, you can CLEP out of something. So someone can come to me and take an economics class, and then they don't have to see you for an hour every other week.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
That would
want
be sad.
But things like that.
Yeah,
And then there's TEAS testing, which is the nursing program. I'm blanking. There's Ramsey testing, which is something that's done through H&I. So that's not even something that's through MCC. I mean, we have students who go to work for H&I that take it, but that's something that we do. We do other colleges tests. So if someone from Kirkwood needs to come here, it's a $25 proctor fee per exam, and they can come and take their test as long as I have communication with their college on how to get it here and get it back.
And of course, they can take also the midterm or final and the hour test there too. So is it like as you mentioned, if I remember right, you said there are computers there, all that. So it can be on paper or on computer. That's okay. That is really neat. And you are saying it's like you are around 48 hours in advance. If they can schedule, will be a good thing.
I think that 24 hours is what it's written everywhere, but as soon as you know you have a test, and I try to do this with students I know that are going to be with us all semester, I try to sit down with them and plan out all of their tests then and there so that there's no confusion. They definitely have a spot. Because there have been times where I'm like, you're just going to have to sit and wait for someone to be done, and it's frustrating for everyone, really.
Yes, I mean, it's limited place, I mean, or space, I'm sorry. Yeah, so they come, they take the test, then when they are done, what will happen to that test?
So depending on how they're, and when you sign up for a test, and I say this on the phone, my girls up front say it on the phone, you need to tell your instructor, you need to be conversing with your instructor. Otherwise, they don't know to give me the test, and that's something that happens too. So, you know, you make the appointment, you call your instructor, you get that test to me, you take your test, and then however that instructor wants the test back is marked on our sheet. I can put it in their mailbox, I can scan it and email it to them, I can shove it under their door, you know, however that specific instructor wants their stuff back.
Good. Anything else that you want our audience to know about the testing center?
Don't be afraid to come see me.
So it's open, and the hours. Can we talk a little bit about the hours?
So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm there Monday through Thursday. Sue Call works in there on Fridays. On Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm there from 3:30 to 7:30. Those are our night hours. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm there 9 to 1. And then Sue is there on Fridays from 9 to noon. So like TEAS testing, you have to have 4 hours to do that test. You gotta come and see me specifically. And that's another reason why I tell people to bring their IDs all the time. If my baby's sick and I'm not here, Sue doesn't always know you. Like, bring your stuff. But yeah.
So some days the testing center will be open in the morning, some days in the afternoon. That's good, very good information. As we are approaching the show, the end of that show, I usually give my guest what I call free time. And during this free time, you can share whatever you would like to share with us. So it's your free time now to share whatever you like to share.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you do that to me?
Yeah, it's tough, right?
It is tough.
I like to put people like
You
that.
like to put us on the spot?
On the spot. Yeah.
Sure. Should I just get up and sing and dance or something?
You can sing if you wish.
Oh, no. No one wants to hear that. I don't know. I guess I'm super glad that I'm back here because, like I said, I was here and I left for about 5 years, and then I was working full-time at Hahn, and I was not enjoying working 6 days a week and being away from my baby. And so it just popped up that there was an opportunity for me to work in the testing center, and I mean, just typed crazy. I was like, here's my resume, like, please. I want to work here again, and it's been such a blessing. I get to stay home with my baby. My grandparents watch her, so I'm very blessed. I don't have childcare costs, and she's learning so much. And for her to be able to be with her great-grandparents is really incredible. But yeah, I was so happy to come back here, and I'm hoping to stay here when I graduate and continue my career here. I just have always really thoroughly enjoyed MCC, and as much as 18-year-old me really, really wanted to go to a private college, I am so blessed that I was pointed in this direction and brought here. And I worked work study up front with Kathy Freund was my great aunt, and she was like, it's going to be fine, we can get you. I was an RA. And so I worked here, I lived here, because that was my other thing. I didn't want to live with my parents anymore. I was the oldest, and I wanted to be, independent.
On your own.
And I wanted to do it, And so I lived here, I worked here, I was an RA, I enjoyed my time thoroughly here. I worked up front, so I knew everyone. I've known Sue for almost 10 years. I've known Shelley for almost 10 years. It's just been like coming back home, and that's what has been really great for me. And I never left the area, but I'm okay with that, and I really like living here.
Well, we're very happy to have you with us also here at MCC. And as I always say, we work together as if we are really a small family. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like the most about working for MCC. So as we always say, we bring the story to your TV. You hear it from those people who are our special guests that comes and spend some time on our show telling their story and sharing that story with you. So as I always say, if you have any question and or comment, please call me at 563-288-6064, or you can email me at jdabeet@eicc.edu. Till next time, Muscatine, bye-bye.